Hi everybody, my name is Jody. Welcome back to my channel. I am on a journey to remove my sister locks, and I am so happy to say that I am almost done with the process. But before I completely end, I wanted to walk you through the process that I take to remove my sister locks. So just for some context, this decision to take down my sister locks has been something that I've thought about over the years, but just never really thought it would be possible. I originally started to take down some locks to actually redo them. Back of my hair, the nape area, attracted a lot of lint over the years. Again, I've had my locks about 19 years now. It'll be 19 years in April. And I wanted to just clean them up because it was just a little unbecoming to lift your hair up and see like lint in the back. So the goal was to just take them down and have them reinstalled. However, it was just something about touching my hair again, and I just got curious. So I started taking down a few more just to see the integrity or gauge the integrity of my hair. I was particularly interested to see if I was experiencing any premature thinning in my hair or on my scalp. So I started taking down maybe just a few here and there. Well, the spirit overtook me, and I just said, I'm going to keep going with this process. I think I'm ready to let go of my locks and enter a new journey. So here we are a few months later. I officially started around mid to end of September. Is now almost 5 months. I think it's February. Yes, February. So I am on my way to being done and being a loose hair natural. So I'll talk more about, what I'm now discovering about my hair over this time. But today I want to just stay focused and talk about the process I use to take down my locks. To take down your sister locks, there's some things to consider. One, how much of your locks do you want to retain? Do you want to cut them off really short, maybe like 4 inches away from the scalp and start taking down? Do you want to keep all of your length and see how much you retained? It's totally up to you. What I've done over the years, I've always cut. Once my hair gets to be like bra strength length, I always cut it. I don't like to have like super long locks for various reasons, but the main one is just too hot and too hard for me to manage. So I'm always cutting my hair. I try to get it at least like collarbone level. So with this set, when I decided to cut my locks, I went collarbone and maybe shoulder, just cutting here and there, and that made the process easier for me. And that's also where I saw the most of my length retention was around my shoulder, collarbone area. So I cut, still, it took a long time for me to take down a lock, but it's just something to consider if you are trying to take down your locks. Well, how much length is length important to you? Or, if it isn't, cut short and just start from there. Or if you want to see how much you have, just start from the bottom and keep working your way up. But just know that the longer your locks, the longer time it takes to take down just one lock. So, getting that out of the way, I'm going to work on a lock that I've already started. Keep in mind too that your locks are holding shed hair and hair that's broken off over the years. And I have one of my locks and just notice the end. Like, this is where the thinning and the breakage started. And it's okay because I know I'm going to cut it over time. I'm not going to cut my hair just yet. I want to take all of my locks out and then get a proper assessment. But I wanted to just show you to see that it is natural that when you take down your locks that you will experience some breakage or shed hair. Your hair will not be the same density as the lock. And that's something too that you have to understand and be okay with. My first shock of seeing one of my locks unraveled, when it just went from here to was a little bit shocking, but after you do it a few times, you just come to accept that that is the nature of removing out your locks. But I want to show you a process that I use to try to minimize some of the breakage. And if you see me looking over to the side, it's because I'm using my mirror to take down my lock. So yeah, so I want to show you my process to help you to eliminate maybe some unnecessary breakage and also start to show compassion for your hair. So there's only a few products that I use to take down my lock. I use water. I use two types of water blends and a cream. So here are the two water blends that I use. I use this water, which is some water with a little bit of apple cider vinegar to help soften up buildup that is in my hair. And this one is just, again, some more spring water, but I put a little bit of aloe vera juice just for some hydration. Because as I work through my locks, I do like to keep my locks wet. And I just find that this little mixture just helps to retain some hydration in my hair and keep them supple. So when I'm ready to work on it, they're already ready to go. So why do I use water, and specifically, again, the one with apple cider vinegar? Well, as I mentioned, my locks over the years have accumulated a certain amount of buildup. And when you're taking down your lock, getting through the buildup I find to be the most challenging part. And this is buildup from product, sebum, sweat. I wasn't a big product user. Like I wasn't using creams and I wasn't overusing like oils, but just over the years, leave-in conditioner sprays. Sometimes I experimented with different brands. But what I think most of my buildup came from was just not properly rinsing out creamy shampoos. And, you know, it's 19 years of buildup. It could be anything. But not to harp on that there was buildup, but as I'm taking down my lock, I found like this little bitty mixture of water and apple cider vinegar helped to soften up the buildup and allow me to get through my lock a little bit faster. So that is the first thing. And you can see too that I am turning my lock around because what I'm doing is looking for a soft, like an opening space where I can put my tool through and just slowly unravel it. And here we go. And again, shed hair that's just accumulated in my lock over the years comes out. The other product that I use is a cream. So I'm using the Cream of Nature Butter Blended Flaxseed. This is a detangler, a rinse out, or a leave-in conditioner. Primarily it's used as a leave-in conditioner and as a detangler. So I use this instead of using a traditional conditioner. When I'm taking out my Sisterlocks, this is over a period of maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours. And depending on how much time, like it's a weekend, like right now it's the weekend. So I can dedicate a few hours to taking down locks. I do not want to leave a traditional conditioner in my hair that long. I don't want to create a situation where I'm over conditioning my hair or creating an environment that's not healthy for the hair that's becoming unlocked. So that is why I decided not to use a traditional conditioner. Now, if this process of taking down your locks took maybe a day, you know, leaving a conditioner in longer than the allotted time, you know, to each his own. It's up to you. But for me, because I know this conditioner or a traditional conditioner would just be on my hair for hours at a time, I decided to go for a cream that is meant to just stay in your hair. So that is, I hope that makes sense. But again, I'd opted to use a cream, and I'm not using a lot. I'm using maybe like a little fingertip dab, and I'm just rubbing it against the lock to again add a little bit of lubrication and slip as I am combing through my lock. And as you see, I was just able to just run through my tool and go through my lock. So here we are and here. All right. So the next water that I use is my mix. Again, this could be just regular water. I added a little aloe vera juice because I'm just fancy sometimes. But again, this is just to keep the moisture in the water in my lock. I try not to overuse the apple cider vinegar water mix. Again, I don't want to overuse, I don't want to dry. You know, apple cider vinegar and water, especially this concentration, may not cause any damage or anything like that, but I just don't want to over rely on it, especially if I'm hitting a section that doesn't have a lot of buildup. So I switch off. When I run into sections with a lot of like heavy buildup, I'll use this, maybe leave it in my lock for a few seconds to let it soak in, loosen up, then I comb through. I'll use a little bit of cream to help with the moisture, moisturization too, but with the glide and the slip. And then when I feel like my lock is starting to get dry, I'll use my other water spray to get through. So I just talked about like the products that I use. Very simple to get. Oh, keep in mind, it is actually really hard to find this in stores. I had to order them from Amazon. I don't know if the product is discontinued, but I really liked it and I wanted to continue using it during this process. So I just ordered from Amazon. And I am almost done, but it's perfect because I'm almost done taking out my locks. And I'm about to enter my no buy moment because I'm just taking a break from spending so much online. So I'm glad that I'm almost done. I can continue my little no buy fast and then start it back up in March. All right. So, oops, I'm getting some buildup right at the end. This is where the patience comes in. It is very easy when you get like the knots, the hair that's, let me see if I can show you, that gets tangled right at the end. Now this is shed hair, this is broken hair, this is just, it happens. This is where your patience comes in. Combing through it, slowly removing strands. Let's see if I can do it. Is key. Yep. Taking your time eliminates that need to break your hair unnecessarily. So take your time as you're going through this process. You're looking for those open spaces where you can place your tool through and comb through. All right. So now the big part, the tool that I'm using. When I started this, I started off like with most people. I was using a safety pin. However, what I found with the safety pin is it was too thin. And that small, sharp pen, when it hits your thumb the wrong way, it causes pain. Because as you see, I'm holding my hair against my thumb. And scraping a safety pin in the same area causes cuts. It hurts. I had to take almost a week off just to allow my thumb to heal. So it's the first tool. I don't particularly recommend it, but if that's all you got and you're careful, by all means, go for it. The other tool that I've seen some people use is the metal tip of a rat tail comb. It has a point, but what I found is those type of tips do not penetrate through Sisterlocks or micro locks really well. You're like almost like forcing it through. And I just didn't find that to be a really good choice for this process. Now, for traditional locks, I think the metal tip of a rat tail comb is perfect. But for smaller locks, no, you need something that has the tip of a pin but offers you a little bit more flexibility. So the other tool that I heard, which actually made sense, was a flea comb. And a flea comb is a tool that's used to comb through the fur of like your pets, like a dog or a cat, to identify and remove fleas and flea eggs. Ideally, it made sense that the needles were thin, they can penetrate and rake through hair. However, that word rake, it for me, it was almost like I was trying to comb through my lock with a fine tooth comb. And I didn't like that feeling. Again, I'm all about patience, showing some compassion for my hair, as well as trying to minimize unnecessary breakage. So I made some maneuverings with one. I went and bought it, and I was able to remove some of the teeth to use maybe the first tooth of a pen, and I'll show a picture of it, to comb through. But I ran into the same problem with the rat tail comb. I couldn't get the tooth of the comb through my hair. So finally, I came with the final solution, which I'm using now. I am using a dental pick. So I started to think about I need a tool with a tip, and for my wrist, I need something that I can hold a little bit differently. I can't, sometimes my wrist hurts. So holding something that gives me a little bit of flexibility in my wrist is what I was looking for. And I found this mainly when I was at the dentist's office and saw my dentist have one. And I'm like, oh, wait, what is that? So I went and bought one for myself, and I started, and I have not looked back ever since. This tool allows me to maneuver through. I have the flexibility with my wrist. I can use and I put my index finger here to just help me to guide. So instead of sometimes putting my tool straight through, oops, oh, it's okay. So instead of putting it straight through, what I do is I'm able to kind of glide it on the side to help loosen the small hairs that wrap around my lock. So imagine, well, for most people, sorry for scratching my nose, but for most locks, you have those small hairs that also wrap around it, almost like the DNA strand wrapping around your lock. And those, oh my gosh, those can hold your whole process up because you're trying to figure out, why can't I get my lock through? But by just sliding this tool against the lock, it helps to remove those wrapping around smaller hairs. And then once you get those removed, then you can gently put the tool through the lock and just slowly start to pull down. And just me using my finger here just allows me a little bit more control. Yep, and I'm just like combing out some of the hairs that have kind of tangled in. And there we go. You will still cut your thumb with this tool, but I find that I only start to, cut my thumb when I'm just moving too fast, or if my hand, I've been doing this too long and my thumb has been submerged in water and like the skin is all wrinkly. I find that that's when I'm more susceptible to getting those cuts. But overall, I've been using this for majority of this process. I would say at least by end of September, October, I've been using exclusively this kind of tool. And it is easy to find. They're not too expensive, maybe like $8. I like to have one with some like grip around it. I don't like the full metal ones. I've seen those, and those are more like what's used at the doctor office. But I like something that has a little bit of material like silicone or something that I can just grip on. So that is the process. How long does this take for me? A lock like this may take about an hour and a half to do. So that's why on weekends I have more of the flexibility to spend a few hours on my lock. I'll just put something on Netflix, have it playing in the background, and just keep going. And again, because I'm close to finishing, I'm able to, there's some more up here, just kind of tuck my hair inside my loose hair, maybe pull it up into a bun, use my satin scrunchies to just move my hair out of my way and go about my business. And I have been able to go out while I'm taking down my locks, which has really been a blessing for me. So that is it. So again, just quick wrap up. I'm using just 2 types of water. I'm using the water with a little bit of apple cider vinegar to address buildup. Spray this on the buildup and just leave it for a few seconds. Well, not a few seconds, maybe like 30 seconds to a minute. Move on to another lock, and that will help to soften up the buildup that you may have. I use this water with a little bit of aloe vera juice, so you don't have to. You can just use water or rose water. I do like to use rose water as well. And I just use this to keep my locks moist and soft so I can move my tool through. I use a cream instead of a rinse out conditioner, and I just use a little bit to help with the detangling process. And the tool that I use, you can use many tools, but I choose to use this dental pick because of the strength of the tip and the ease of me maneuvering this tool to take down my lock. So that is where we are. I hope that me explaining my process was really helpful for you. And yeah, so thank you again for joining me on this journey. I cannot wait to reach the end of this process, but most importantly, I'm just excited to start my new journey with my loose hair, reacquainting myself to my type 4 hair. It's definitely a tight curl, and just exploring what's coming up next. All right, thanks a lot. Bye.